This segment is for my friend Mason and his sister Paige. He wanted to know how to make chainmail because he was out here with his grandpa and he saw my chain shirt. So, can you make me one, kind of a deal? I said, no, I can show you how to make your own because it's so labor intensive, it's not cost effective. But anyway, Mason, here's what you start with. You remember the little rings I had, right? Well, they're made out of wire. And what I used was 16 gauge electric fence wire. So in order to get this into these little bitty rings, you first have to take a 3/8 bolt, and drill, you enter your wire. 1 second, I got something in the forge here. Okay, Mason, to start this out, to get the rings, to put this in the drill, what you want to do is slide the bolt in first, slide the end of the wire in next, and then tighten the chuck by hand, or with a chuck wrench, depending on your drill. And then you want to slowly turn the drill on, and just wrap the wire on ever so slowly. Try to keep them as tight as you can. It just makes this nice little spring. Then toward the end, to keep from hurting, because it winds up pressure just like a spring. You want to wrap this part by hand so that you don't cut your hand when it comes to the end of the wire. Of course, that only happens at the end of the roll. And then release it, slide your spring out. Yeah. Again. Now once you get a pile of them clipped, here I'll show you. Got a bunch of them here. Hold on. Here we go. Once you get a pile of them clipped, you see how they're offset? We don't want that. So we want to take our pliers, and to close them or to line them up straight, you just take them and torque them like that. If you put them in your pliers like this, you get the most leverage you can get on them. And we just want to close up a few of them. The end result, when we're all done, as we add them in, we will tighten them in too. Well, we'll just make quite a few. That one's done. Sometimes they come out better, sometimes they come out, depending on how the spring was wrapped. You see, some of these will be open more than others. It will just set a few of them together. Now we're going to start our chain. To that, we're going to open one ring. We're going to slide 2 rings on. We're then going to close that ring. And we're going to okay. So we have one ring with 2 in it. We're going to go open another one. And then we're going to connect those 2. You see how that works? And then we're going to put 2 more on. See? Open another ring. Now we're going to connect those 2 with this ring. And then we'll add 2. We'll get another one here made. I'll open this up. We'll slide those on there. We'll add 2. And we'll take one that's open. We'll thread it in. The way you start this chain is you can see how it alternates between 1 link, 2 links, 1 link, 2 links. So now when you lay it down, get this in the shot here. You see how the rings lay out, kind of? It's hard to see from this angle. Here, I'll do it this way. Yeah. So that when you lay the rings out, they look like that. Now you start your next couple rows by opening the ring, just looping it through the one on the end, like that. Then you stretch it out. You open the next one. Now you work it through that one, underneath, and then over this one. Tighten it. Open another one, under, over. Under, over. Just hook him in there. And lay him flat. The ends get kind of tricky like this, but yeah, eventually they lay flat. Now you can see they do 2 different kinds of rows to it. 1 second here. Yeah. So on our next row, we'll open it. And we'll go in like that. Sometimes it helps to take a piece of cardboard and use straight pins to keep everything lined up. Okay, Mason, once you get a sheet big enough of chainmail, or get it figured out, sorry. Once you get it figured out, you want to make a little bunch of chains or a pattern like this, kind of a square. And you want to count rows, you know. You just represent the rings like this. And then you want to go so many here. Kind of like this, right? And then you want to make a square hole in the middle, like that. Now, this represents where your neck's going to go. So these two little sections of chainmail, they'll actually run this way, will go over your shoulders. And then two other sections will fill in on the front and the back, and that gets the start of your shirt. Make sure that your center line is here, because you can see there are different rows, they go the opposite ways. As you work on this, you'll be able to count those rows to measure. And then once you get the neck hole figured out, then you can continue on down, equal sides, and then all this way too. And then that'll be the front and back of your shirt. You know, it'll look kind of like, try to get this right, you know, almost like an apron, double-sided apron. And then when you get enough that way, you simply fold it together with your center line over a rod, like I hang mine on, and then you stitch it up the sides. And then if you've counted all your rows out evenly, you know, once you've got it stitched up the sides, then you take a square section for each sleeve, and you connect it at the shoulder and down each side and seam it up the inside of the arm. That's another way to explain it would be, you make your big square, or your square for your shoulders and your squares for your body, and then you count how many inches or however you want each ring represents, and go down your arm so much to stick it out over. Like this, let's say that's an arm. So then when you fold this in half, when you're doing the seam that connects the front and the back, you just follow it around down the inside of the arm. And if you've counted your rows and it all lines up, it should all stitch together very easily and it'll be seamless. But you've got a long way to go before you get to that part. I would suggest clipping probably 5 quart jars full of these rings. And that's, you know, it's going to take you quite a bit of time to do that. But when you're done, I mean, it's kind of fun. It's worth it to have one. Otherwise, they're like $300 to buy one.